So I've been thinking, our children may not know our childhood story, our growing up story, but I'm very certain that they can actually feel our patterns through what we show to them. And I don't say this or talk about this to shame anyone or blame anyone, but I want to actually talk about this because generational trauma is real and it's not fluff and it's not made up like a lot of people believe that to be just an excuse. What happens in one generation can affect the next generation, whether we realize it or not, whether we want to accept it or not. And it's not because parents don't love their children. Majority of parents I know and I'm sure love their children a lot. But it's because adults are still carrying pain, fear, shame, survival, and many old beliefs that they had never had support to deal with or even have the self-awareness to seek help for. I think many of us have seen this in our own families, especially in Asian families like mine. Is quite normal, where love was there. Definitely, my parents I know love me and my siblings so much, but this love very often came with yelling. I mentioned to my mom the last time I saw her that, whether she remembered that when she yells at me, sometimes, the whole zoo, the animals of the zoo, the names came out from her mouth while yelling at us. Of course, she doesn't remember it. She didn't intend it. But so this yelling, the strictness, the fear, this our parents instill in us, the pressure, smacking, physical punishment, forced obedience, academic pressure, and so on. The idea that is implanted in our mind and our heart that success means achieving good grades, higher education, prestigious career, good income, and don't embarrass the family, doesn't matter what you do, and don't talk back. This might be because our parents and our grandparents and the generations that came before them learned this from their parents too. And they know no different in terms of how they are supposed to raise kids. So maybe for them, it was just survival and they just carry on the parenting style that the generations before them carry on. And it was probably coming from, good intentions of preparing us for life and to be successful in life. They just didn't know any other way. But our children that we're caring for and making a difference now and we're raising now in our responsibility may not know all of this underlying history or realize it at all. They just feel the pattern and see the pattern that's coming through in our parenting them. And sometimes, very often, because we were hurt by our past harsh parenting, we actually we either follow the same or we go the other extreme, where we become scared of boundaries for our children, scared to say no to them, scared to discipline our children or to disappoint our children. I've seen this so many in the younger parents nowadays, especially. But children don't need harsh control. I completely agree. But they also don't need no boundaries either. They need to have love from their parents with wisdom, to have connection coupled with correction when needed, to have grace with the right guidance, to have safety with structure, with the right boundaries, so they know how far to venture. And I think breaking generational patterns is not just becoming the opposite of what hurt us before, but it is becoming healthier, working on ourselves to be healthier inside out. And I think a lot about this with my own life too, especially the last few years. I know what it feels like to be a child who needed someone to see me, especially my parents, to be appreciated and to be regarded as a good child. But now as a parent, I don't want my children to only inherit my love or to just simply know that I love them. I want them to also inherit better patterns in the way they parent their future children or carry themselves. to have more safety inside out, to have more wisdom and emotional honesty, being able to talk, just as human beings between us and our children. But to do that, it means I have to be willing to face some things within myself. Not in a perfect way and not all at once, because it'll be too overwhelming, but really honestly, because pain may explain the pattern from the past, but it does not have to excuse these patterns and keep it there. So I think today the big question is to think about what is the one pattern that we don't want to pass on to our children. And then what is a healthier way that I can practice instead? Because we may not be able to change the story before us or before our parents or grandparents, etc. But we can change what continues after us today. A healthier future starts with one adult willing to grow today.